I hated doing my face makeup before using this set. Hi fairies! Welcome back to my channel. I'm eca.fairy and in today's video we are testing not one but two Real Techniques brushes sets. This first one is called the Precision Perfection Duo and it has two viral tools for concealing, blending and setting. And as you can see, it contains one brush, which is the 242. It has a really interesting shade that I'm so excited to try out. This one is called the Kitten Paw Concealer Brush and it has a unique kitten paw shape, which is so cute. Bristles that provide high coverage for flawlessly concealing under eyes. So we know that we are using this one for our concealer. Then we also have this Miracle 2-in-1 Powder Puff, which I thought was a really interesting concept because it's a multi-purpose dual textured makeup puff designed to work with powders, liquids and creams for a soft, seamlessly set base. We are going to be seeing if what they claim is actually true, and this one is basically double-sided. So you have this side, the pink one, which is softer, and then this one is almost like a silicone-y kind of thing. And then we also have this set. This is the Everyday Essentials set and it has 5 tool staples to create your perfect blend from eye to base. I'm going to be introducing these ones as we go, so as I'm using them, but I also wanted to first show you these ones because both of them are more interesting and unique concepts to me. First of all, you know that the most important step in your face makeup is your primer, and I'm using this one by NYX. This is the Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer, and you know how much I swear by this product and how often I use it. And I really feel like if NYX does a really good job with all of their products, they've done an especially remarkable one with this primer. It really works well, especially for my skin type. I have pretty dry skin and this is almost the only primer that is in this format, so it's not like a spray one. It doesn't cling onto every single dry patch of my skin, though I am applying moisturizer beforehand. Primed our face, it's time for applying the foundation, and I have a hard time choosing because this set has both a Miracle Complexion sponge, which is this really interesting shaped beauty blender thing. Side is extremely precise, so I could really use this to both blend my foundation and my under eye concealer. However, I want to use this one to blend the under eye concealer, so this really sharp side of the beauty blender is going to remain as an experiment for another makeup tutorial. And this set also contains the 200 brush, which is the Expert Face Brush, and as you can see, the shape is absolutely perfect for applying both foundation, but I feel like also contour. Like a liquid contour would work really well with this sort of brush. And the sponge is supposed to give you a more dewy and natural glow, so maybe I'll just use this on one side of my face and then the brush on the other side to kind of show you the difference if there is one, because I'm not sure, but we are going to discover together. And for that purpose we're going to be using this. We're not going to be using this because this is a concealer. Okay, I actually prepared this because it was from Dior and I was really excited to try this sort of foundation, but it's a concealer, so I have to get a tester that has actual foundation because, as you probably know by now, I am trying to use up all the testers that I have in order to be able to find new products. Fake fix, I got the tester from Fenty Beauty by Rihanna, the Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation, and it has quite a few shades there, and I think I could be using like all these 3, maybe even 4. However, I think I am going to combine, and I know this defeats the whole purpose, but they have very little product in each one, so you can't get like a full face of makeup like you would with the singular testers. Like for example, this one I can do my whole face just with this product, but with these ones I can't, so we're going to be combining all of them, and I'm kind of nervous because I am pretty sure that the brush is going to take up, you know, a lot of product inside of it. I'm going to combine all of them because I know I should just be using one, but again, it's not enough for me to do my makeup, so we're going to be just taking all of them. I'm going to be using the brush on this side of my face, and I would definitely say that this is not enough product. This is more like those kinds of testers that you just determine your shade but not how the product actually works for you. So today I think we're going to be using multiple testers. Oh look, I picked up more this time. And I'm also going to be concealing my under eye area, as I was telling you, so I'm not going to be assisting there with foundation. This is definitely very lightweight, and you might be wondering like, why am I even going through this when I could just be using one foundation? Well, I'm a very indecisive person and I have not yet found my foundation that I actually swear by. So in the meantime, I'm just using up all these testers that I'm receiving with my orders in order to be able to actually narrow it down, like, yeah, this is a foundation that I actually want to buy. Because in the past, I used to just buy foundation that seemed like it was something that I would enjoy, and then I wouldn't use it because it wasn't that good of a product for my face, or it wasn't just what I was looking for, and I just don't want to waste that kind of product and that kind of money anymore, especially for a higher quality foundation. This method just helps me really determine that. I would say that this brush is literally like flawlessly applying the product. I literally have no complaints about it, and I feel like it's, you know, taking that excess product that would appear, for example, with other brushes that I've had in the past, or with actual like beauty blenders in other tutorials, that I felt like they literally left this excess foundation everywhere, and I did not like that look. All in all, I would say that this is a very reliable brush. I love the shape and the way that it blends the products. I feel like it gives a very natural look. I would definitely say that it deserves to be called the expert face brush because just great. And now we're going to make it compete with the Miracle Complexion sponge. Now I know that some people like to use these wet, damp, but I'm not going to do that because I've never, and I don't find it necessary, honestly. Honestly, I am way more used to applying foundation with a beauty sponge, so not with a brush. I think this is one of the very first times that I actually loved applying foundation with a brush. So extra points to Real Techniques for doing that. As you can see, I feel like blending the foundation with the sponge is a bit more difficult, but maybe I was just supposed to wet it beforehand, I'm not sure. However, I think it's alright because we're just testing it now. We're supposed to see how each of these works, so pressure, but I would definitely say that honestly, like, unexpectedly, I liked the brush more. It covered way faster what I wanted it to cover, and it didn't have this thing where you have to just tap, 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 which, like, again, unexpectedly, because I usually just use a beauty blender. Looking at them side by side, so this is the sponge side and this is the brush side, I really feel like the brush applied it more evenly. It literally looks like my skin, and keep in mind it's the same product, while here you can kind of see that I'm wearing makeup. So it really also depends on the effect that you want your makeup to give, because I would say like a full glam would definitely be done with this, whereas a more natural makeup look, a no makeup look, that kind of thing would definitely be done with the brush, in my opinion at least. You can use both of them to apply more than that, so in fact I'm going to try and contour my face a little with the brush. And for that, because I also don't have a contour and I'm also really not sure what to use, I'm just going to use a darker shade of the Fenty Beauty foundation. Like, I don't know which one would be good. I'm just going to open them, and maybe this one, I don't know. I've seen those do this before with darker concealer or darker foundation, so I think it's okay. However, I haven't really, like, only a few times, and I haven't contoured my face in a pretty long time, so yeah, I think this is a bit too dark, but we're going to blend it, and I really hope it's going to be okay. Okay, this is definitely a bit orange than I was expecting. I don't know why, but I was just expecting for this to come off as cool toned, honestly, even though, yeah, it's a foundation. It was probably like, oh my god, I literally look like I'm bruised. I definitely applied way too much. Maybe this side will turn out a bit better. I applied way too much here and I don't know what to do about it. It's time for concealer, and obviously I want to try this brush first because I'm so intrigued by it. And we're going to be testing this concealer. This is from Rare Beauty and it's the Positive Light Under Eye Brightener. If you've watched my recent other makeup tutorials, you know how much I love the formula of this concealer and that I really just decided that yes, I am going to get this, in fact. However, I'm still oscillating between it and a concealer from Dior, so I'm just having a really hard time deciding, as expected. So I'm going to be taking this and just, I really think that this is a very, and I mean very ideal shape. And I feel like because of the shape of the brush maybe, or how the bristles are positioned, or I don't know, it really still leaves this very glowy effect, which I honestly don't mind. Now I also want to test this one out because I really want to see how this silicone-y orange side would go with applying concealer. And I'm going to be taking the same one and just using it on the other side of my face. The texture is different in the sense that it really just applies way more than what the brush applied, obviously, because this is really like not absorbing much of the product, which if that's what you're looking for, then this is a great choice. If you don't like when your makeup tools just absorb your product, try this out because it really is what it's claiming to be. I'm not sure how you're supposed to use this side without getting like the thing dirty, but we're going to have to see. And as a side by side, you can see that this offered way more full coverage, whereas the Kitten Paw brush left it this kind of airbrushed effect, this kind of very natural, almost no makeup effect. Both of these sets so far, as you can see, are really giving so much variety for your makeup looks. Like whether you're looking for a natural makeup look but also for a full glam night out event kind of look, you can get both just with these tools. It really just depends on the kind of makeup that you want, because as you can see, you can do like the full range so far, and a testament to how well these makeup brushes hold. I've had some Real Techniques brushes, some sets that I use for my eyes for over 4 years, and they look pristine. Like they literally look like they are brand new, and I have had periods of time in which I was doing my makeup every single day. We have reached the blush category, for which we have this pretty blush brush that I'm so excited about. This is the 400, and it has a soft extended shade that blends powder blush evenly for a natural to buildable flash. And this is really great, I think, because most of us are in fact looking for buildable formulas, but also that allow you to build product. So on this side of my face, I'm going to test my powder blush, which is Shelly by Benefit, and at first I'm just going to apply very little. Like I don't want to take a lot because I don't know how much is going to actually show on my face. Oh my god, this is so natural. But this is really applying evenly and very easily compared to the blush brush that I had before. And this was definitely a great purchase for me, because I was getting kind of tired of having to like endlessly blend my blush until it looked okay, and this is just doing it in just a few swipes. And then I also want to see how these sets are performing with liquid blush, so we're going to use the Pillow Talk by Charlotte Tilbury. And no, I'm not going to make the mistake of applying it with this brush because it specifically says that it's for powder blushes. However, I want to put this to test again because I'm so intrigued by the concept, and we're just going to apply a little bit. Like, I just put it on it because I don't know how much is going to be showing on my face. And I'm really curious because this is supposed to blend really well like all formulas of makeup. Okay, so far nothing is showing. But you know, I'm really afraid to put on more because this is so pigmented, like really pigmented, and I don't want to end up looking pink all over my face. I mean, it's not necessarily blending it too easily, but it's also the blush. I feel like the formula is kind of difficult to be blended with many of the tools that I've tried, like even like fingers. I don't know. I know this is not really working. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's the formula together with this. Maybe I should apply more, but again, I'm kind of scared to use more. But you see, I want this effect. I am determined to make it work, so I'm going to just apply a bit more. And maybe this time it's going to blend properly. I'm really just applying too little, and I'm aware of that. However, I do have not so good memories when I tried to go wild and apply too much at once, and this instantly becomes extremely bright. And I feel like it's pretty difficult for me to smooth out the edges. Yeah, I think I put way too much. Yeah. So we're just going to be really patient and blend this out, and this is doing a great job. The texture is As you can see, dispersing the pigment very evenly, even though I didn't apply it very evenly. And I am loving the finish. This is just great. And it's also really great that it's compact. You can take it while traveling, especially if you're going to an event or something like that. So these Real Techniques sets both passed the test for blush application, one of them for liquid blush, the other one for powder blush, but I think they are a really good combo, especially as I did. If you can get them together, I got them on sale at the same time because I wanted to really elevate the makeup tools that I was using for my face makeup, because before that I used to be like very frugal with that for some reason, because I'm not really doing my face makeup a lot outside of YouTube. Usually I'm just using like blush, bronzer, and that's kind of it. I'm not doing like foundation and concealer because I usually don't have the time. Now it is officially time to also test the setting brush. This is the 402 from the bigger set, and we are going to be testing it with the Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom Cake. So I'm just going to pick some on the brush. I don't know again how much is going to be applied, and I'm really used to using this, but as you probably know, I do have some complaints about this round puff thing because it's not precise enough for me to apply setting powder in here, and I need it like a lot there. So I hope the problem is going to be solved with this brush. We are going full on 2016 makeup at this point. I also wanna apply some here just to see, you know, just to get the actual vibe of how it used to be to bake everything on your face, because I don't know why we're just not doing that anymore. But whenever I do my makeup, I actually try to just do it the real way, the 2016 way. I feel like it's the, at least for me, the OG way to do your makeup. I don't have that much product on my face. I don't think baking in extreme quantities is going to be required. However, I'm just going to do it for the sake of it, even though it's not exactly the way people used to do it, but whatever. I'm also going to bake this part of my forehead because I feel like it's getting this weird texture sometimes. All in all, I definitely love this setting brush. I feel like it's an upgrade for me because, don't get me wrong, this is really great, especially for when you're traveling, but it's just the fact that it's round and so big does not allow me to conceal this side of my eye, obviously, and you have seen me struggling in the past with doing that. And while the face is baking, we are going to be testing our last brush, I think, which is this one. This is the Deluxe Crease Brush, which sounds really promising. Now, I'm not going to do a full eyeshadow look because that would take quite some time and I would need more than one brush. However, I do want to use this in my crease, and for that we're going to use the Natural Eyes by Too Faced and apply Kashmir Bani, which I feel like is a really like moderate brown, I would say, like neutral, but just a bit darker, and just see how it applies. Because the shape, yeah, God, the shape is perfect for the job. Somehow I did my makeup all this time without having this, and to me now it feels kind of unreal because the shape, as you can see, is kind of flat on top. It looks like pudding in my head, I don't know, but it's absolutely perfect for the crease, just as it claims. And once again, Real Techniques is just proving to me that they know how to do everything right. Like, is there anything that Real Techniques doesn't get right? Because I don't think so. And I used to think that with other brush brands as well, but they did have some of their like flops for me personally. However, with Real Techniques, thankfully, that still is yet to happen. And I'm going to use the same setting brush to brush off any excess that could be on my face, though I'm not necessarily seeing any. And I feel like it looks way more airbrushed now after I set it. Yeah, I know that the blush is not necessarily symmetrical, but this was an experiment, okay? So don't judge. And this is the final look with the two sets from Real Techniques. And besides being really great makeup tools overall, like the quality is really great. What I love about them and why I keep purchasing from Real Techniques. Also, I do want to address the fact that it's clearly made for women. Like, person who chooses the colors really loves us because look how pretty and aesthetic. And some makeup brushes that are really good quality from other brands are just ugly, I'm sorry. However, in this you also get the pretty factor, which makes doing your makeup more enjoyable. And this brings me to the fact that I am now realizing that I hated doing my face makeup before using this set. Like, before discovering the face makeup tools from Real Techniques, I literally hated doing my face makeup, and this is why I used to do it so rarely, just in tutorials for you guys, because they needed me to do my face makeup or I wanted to show you some tips, some tricks and so on. However, it was just this struggle because quality of my brushes just wasn't good enough and it made me really dislike the whole process altogether. However, from now on, I'm definitely going to doing my makeup way more because this was such a great experience overall and definitely worth buying. This has been my review. Do let me know down in the comment section which Real Techniques set is a must-have for you and which ones are more worth it in your opinion, and I'll see you fairies next time. Thank you for watching. Bye!